Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Emil, and I decided to start recording my journey on building my new business. So, a little background on me: my previous company did $30 million in sales, and now I'm restarting my journey into a brand new business. And what I'm building right now is an AI agent that will actually go and figure out insights on your customers, and I'm targeting initially Shopify stores as a niche. So what I imagine my product to look like eventually when it's fully built is any Shopify owners go on their dashboard. They could see the amount of pushback or friction or opportunities that their customers highlighted, and all that through AI agents that will go and do customers interview for them essentially. So, and the way that I thought about this is in my previous business where we were doing about like $7-8 million a year. A lot of our success in revenue came from insights from customers, and I noticed that a lot of Shopify owners or just general entrepreneurs don't do that often. And today, with the era of AI agents and all the data that they can collect on behalf of you as an entrepreneur towards your customers, it can do a lot of good digging with customers. So I'm trying to build that, and I'll walk you through the process of how I do it. So let's kick things off. So look, um, when uh, when you're building products, especially in the early days, wow, this is a little sketch I was doing earlier, but so you have like three things you can focus on essentially, and that's my way of building stuff. So maybe you have other ways of doing it, but I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. So you can first of all target marketing. So just go here and um, acquire leads, a lot of them. So you can have a pipeline. When you're building, you can have a pipeline of, let's say, like you're building with like 10 clients. And you're building essentially, and that's the other thing that you can focus on is the core experience. So core experience. And you could actually do it, by, in my case, you can do that with at the same time with 10 clients. So you can focus on here. You'd be focusing on making good landing pages, good copywriting, meta ads, Google ads, acquiring clients, maybe SEO, influencers, all that kind of stuff. So in that section here, you're actually working on the core experience, which in my case, just to give you guys a little bit of content of what it could look like. So in my case, the core experience is here. Let me just pull up a link real quick. So that's going to be the core experience. Um, Go there, boom. So in my case, this will contact the customers of the Shopify stores, and the customer themselves will go through that process, sign up, and do a customer interview. So I could focus a lot on the core experience, or you can focus a lot on acquiring new clients. Either way, or you can also focus on delivering insights to the the store owner. So so here it would be like insights to the store owner, and and the way that I'm doing it is I'm doing it with literally one client. So never mind the 10 client. I think like if you have a lot of clients in your pipeline as you're building, it's a big mistake in my opinion. Why? Because every new client will require extra assistance, even if they're free, even if they want their tool. In my case, there was a lot of people that saw that tool and they were like, wow, I want it for my store. Can I also download it? And I purposefully said, no, not right now, because they'll have feedback, recommendation, et cetera, et cetera. And ultimately, your goal, your one metric that matters, is delivering a 12 on 10 experience. So the experience must be so good. And to do that, you have to focus only on a single client. You have to course correct through your build up, and you have to have an intelligent an intense amount of empathy towards your client, and it has to be specifically adapted for that one customer. So once you hit a 12 on 10 experience with one customer, well, add another one. So, and then add another one, and then add another one. So with that being said, I'm not focusing at all right now on acquiring new clients. I'm not focusing at all. The core experience, actually, I'm focusing on it a little bit. So where I'm spending most of my time is, we'll go with the green thing. I'm spending most of my time here and here, not here. That's a big trap. I see a lot of people that like, oh, let me do a nice landing page and a nice video and create hype. No, you don't want that. Especially in the era where we are today with AI, and it's so easy to build. What you really want to do is validate your retention and validate that people really really want your stuff. So and now more specifically, how does that work? So in my case, it's very interesting because the core experience is obviously, like I said, doing customer interviews on behalf of Shopify owners. And where I'm at right now in the process is that, this is my dashboard, and you can see there's a lot of customer interviews with, and the small ones is just me testing my product internally. So never mind these 10 seconds, 48 seconds, 46, 55. But the long ones on the real ones. The long ones are the actual customer interviews with clients. And I've done probably now about like 50. Well, I haven't done any, but my agents have done about 50. So with that being said, you could, when you take a little step back and you're like, okay, so there's 50 customer interviews. Do I focus on iterating on that process, so digging in better insights? Or do I focus now on delivering the insights to the customers? And the way that I'm thinking about it is that I'm focusing more here now, so more insights. And I was strapped a little bit. I was like, let me iterate, because to be totally transparent, like the core experience right now, like the customer interviews are good, but they're not like excellent. They're not to the point where I'm like, wow, I'm so impressed. Despite that, I'm still making the decision of being, okay, well, it's not 100%. It's like, it's like, it's maybe like 60% of satisfaction level. But despite that, and that's the real insight here, is that despite being like 60%, I'm still going to try to deliver value to the store owners. So I'm still going for that specific store that I'm working with. I'm still going to think through, with the 50 customer experience that I have, how can I still deliver value today to them? And that's what I'm thinking through right now. So that's where I'm at. So the way that I'm thinking about this is, okay, well, look, there's 50 customer interviews. They're not that great, but now I'm still thinking about, can I extract like a few pieces of each interview and stack them into something that is valuable? And I started doing that. So the way I'm thinking about this right now is, where would my product and that's what's really cool, is that it's forcing me to think about the end-to-end experience. And essentially that's what you want to generally do. You don't want to be stuck on this part and then this part and this. You're not optimizing every part of the customer experience. In the early stage of building a product, you're doing full loops. So you do a whole loop and then you restart. And then you do a whole loop and then you restart. The benefit of doing a full loop is that every iteration actually forces you to deliver value. And that's super important. If you don't do that, you could be stuck on optimizing something so well, but then ultimately you make a little slight modification here in the process, and that whole thing that you spend months on is pretty much useless. So it's counterintuitive, because my first reflex was like, let me make that core experience, the customer interview, so good that we extract so much insights, and then I would have an abundance of insights. But that's not the way to do it, because once you push yourself to try to deliver value to the customer, to your customers, which in my case again are the store owners, you then figure out that maybe the core experience will be affected by that. So if you over optimize on a core experience, you might be wasting your time. So the way I'm thinking about it right now is, I do have about 50 customer interviews. They're not amazing, but they're okay. And now I'm thinking about, how can I deliver value to my customers? So how can I, because obviously, like you see again in my little dashboard here, these customer interviews, like 22 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, the store owners are not going to sit through that and listen to all of them. So my job will be, like, obviously there's scripts as well, but now my job will be to figure out how can I deliver these insights to them, and how can my product fit within their day-to-day journey? How does it fit? And that's going to be my job. So I'm thinking about it from I'm using a framework here that's called jobs to be done. And I'm thinking of, where could that fit? Does it fit in their morning ritual? Does it fit in their end of day? Do I like send them an email and say, hey, these are the top issues you guys got to focus on? Um, should I build a kind of a backlog of issues and then make sure that they're tackling them, kind of a backlog of work to be done? So that's what I'm thinking through. And where I'm at right now is my mind is going to a dashboard like this. So this is a mock-up. Everything done by Claude Design. It's amazing. It takes like super easy. So what I'm thinking about is I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna hit them up with a board where they can see their top issues of the day, so they can know what to focus on. So these are real reasons that came up from the customer interview. So shipping and speed are support gaps and are making them lose a lot of customers. Then there's the out of stock frustration that makes them also lose a lot of customers. It's my customer here is a hardware store that sells crypto miners, so that's another issue that came up from customers. So that's what I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it from the perspective of stashing all these customer interviews into signals in an aggregated way where the shop owner could just open his dashboard and see all his pressing issues that he should work on. So with that being said, the other thing I'm thinking about right now is, well, how do I measure that this is successful? I could stack all these insights into a board, and then, maybe they open it, maybe they don't open it. What makes me say that it's successful? So that's what I'm thinking through right now. It's I'm defining the key metrics that will make it successful. I'm defining also how do I deliver that experiences. I have it into a board, but do I trigger them in the morning? And at what frequency will these insights change? How do I know they actually action them for real? So that's the type of question I'm thinking through, because this will tell me if I'm on pace with my value or it's a absolutely failure of an experiment. If I stash like 20 things they got to do that came from customers and they decide to do none of them and they do something else, then that's my result. So the way I'm thinking about this is I'm not going to measure statistically or anything. I'm not going to measure with metrics, with retention. That's down the line. If you have like 40, 20, maybe 20, 40 customers, 60 customers, you start, measuring with statistical significance. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to spend my next few days, and I'll keep you posted, and I'll take a few videos with them, but I'll be spending my next few days with the actual customer. So literally next to them. And I'll be like kind of acting like a consultant using all these insights. So I'll be stacking insights. I'll be taking them and I'll be like pushing these insights on them. And I'll start noticing if they actually are using them or not. That's it. That's simple. So that's what I'm focused on right now. And stay tuned to my next video. I'll be walking you through the next steps in evolution into my new business. So again, I've done it's my third business now, my third real business, and I'll be stacking a lot of the insights that I got from the previous one to this one, and I'll be walking you through how, if you're a first-time founder, how you should think about these things. Yep, I hope that's going to be insightful, and I hope that this video was insightful for you guys.